Welcome to the 2013 MAAC Men's Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max. From the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts, our fourth quarterfinal on the men's side between the Manhattan Jaspers and the defending MAAC tournament champs, the Loyola Greyhounds. And on the line in this one, a spot in the semifinals opposite of 7th-seeded Fairfield, which just upset the 2nd seed from Ryder. And welcome everybody to Springfield, Mass. Doug Sherman along with former Division I assistant coach Rob Kennedy. This Loyola team comes in having had the experience of being in this building, cutting down the nets a year ago. How much of that could serve as a motivation here tonight?
Well, because they've got so many guys back, I think it could be a big motivation, and the experience they may need to get them into a situation where if you come late in a ball game and you got to survive in advance, they know how to do that.
Okay, let's take a look at our Holiday Inn one-on-one for our fourth quarterfinal matchup here tonight.
Well, for Manhattan, Ramel Brown has been their big guy inside. We talked about guards throughout the day. How about a couple of big guys getting some love? Ramel Brown, the Defensive Player of the Year, once again in the MAAC, doing a terrific job, stepping up, having to shoulder some more offensive responsibility this season. Eric Etherly, well, he was the MVP of this tournament last year when Loyola was able to win and advance to the NCAA tournament. Once again, a first-team All-MAAC selection, coming off a big game last time out when these two teams met, scoring 30 points, a career high.
Here's a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Franz. Michael Alvarado at the point, Donovan Cates on the wing. Shane Richards, earlier this week, named the co-Rookie of the Year in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Roberto Cullinet and Ramel Brown, the two-time Defensive Player of the Year, as Rob mentioned, anchoring the inside for the Jaspers. And for Loyola, R.J. Williams back into the starting lineup for this tournament opener for Loyola. He'll be at the point with Dylan Cormier, Robert Olson, Eric Etherly, last year's tournament MVP, and Anthony Winbush. Kind of a jack of all trades for this Loyola University team that is looking for win number 22 on the year. Our coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock, and that is Steve Masiello in his second year as head coach at the Division I level, a 2000 graduate of the University of Kentucky, where he played for both Rick Pitino and Tubby Smith. And there is Jimmy Patsos in his 9th year as head coach of the Greyhounds. And as you see, back-to-back 20-win seasons. Had a program record 24 victories a year ago when they went on to the NCAA tournament for only the second time in program history. Let's take a look at the Geico keys to the game, Rob.
Well, first of all, Manhattan, they got to clean things up on the defensive backboards. Loyola's the top offensive rebounding team in the league at nearly 13 a game. And then they've got to be strong with the basketball. They can't turn it over. And that's been a problem all season long for Manhattan. Average 16.5 turnovers per game, tops in the league. And then for Loyola, they've got to get on extended runs. Both these teams like to press. Loyola gets a lot of their offense when they're able to turn you over and score in bunches, and then they've got to be able to defend the post. Ramel Brown has become their offensive focus for the Manhattan Jaspers. They've got to make sure that they double down and don't allow Ramel Brown to get comfortable.
This is a Loyola team that has 3 1,000-point scorers in its starting lineup. Dylan Cormier, Eric Etherly, and Robert Olson. It's just the 6th time in MAAC history that 3 players have been in that club at the same time. And the interesting thing is that man, Cormier, along with Etherly, joined the 1,000-point club on the same night, January 21st at Fairfield. And you'd think, well, that's not going to happen in the entire country very often. The very next day, Lorenzo Brown and Richard Howell at North Carolina State did the exact same thing at Wake Forest. So this is a senior-laden veteran bunch, tournament-tested, and Loyola trying to defend its 2012 championship here in 2013. Etherly tipped it, but Alvarado's got it. So the Jaspers, the number 6 seed, in their road green uniforms. Loyola, the number 3 seed, in the home white uniforms. Alvarado inside to Ramel Brown. It was blocked, but he keeps fighting for two.
That's what he's done all season long. Once George Beeman went out, he had to really step up his offensive game, and he has been up to the task.
Traveling violation. R.J. Williams dragged his anchor foot, and so they give it back to the Jaspers. And you talk about the fact that George Beeman is not here. He played just 4 games this year with multiple ankle injuries, and they decided to shut him down when it was apparent midway through the year that he wasn't going to be able to get back and be even near 100%. And the hope is that he'll be back next year. Collinette makes it 4-0 Jaspers.
You'll notice both teams will get up in their full court pressure on pretty much any made basket, especially early in this ball game.
Etherly blocked by Collinette. Olsen hits the 3.
You know, so many times on broken plays, you see somebody get themselves free from beyond the 3. Good energy from both these teams. They're going to fly around defensively.
Richards lining it up. He's a very good three-point shooter, but misfires on his first attempt. This Loyola team really has 3 point guards on the floor right now. I mean, the true point guard is R.J. Williams with the basketball, but Cormier has logged plenty of minutes this year on the at the point. Same with Anthony Winbush.
Yeah, and Winbush, a guy who's more like a point forward, but they'll initiate offense through him.
There he is, doing a nice job to receive a tough pass. But the Greyhounds ultimately turn it back over to the Jaspers. Ramel Brown up ahead of the field, able to not finish. And then the foul call. I think Brown did the right thing by coming and trying to lay it in without coming down with it. Just couldn't finish it. And then the foul called, his first. Franz Rossman has come into the ball game.
But he can't pick up silly, cheap fouls.
No.
I mean, they're going to go at him offensively. Loyola runs a lot of flex, and so that means you're going to get a lot of dump-ins, curl passes into the post. He's got to save all those fouls.
And there is Brown making sure that the Greyhounds don't get a second shot attempt. Alvarado being guarded closely by Williams. Alvarado begging for the basketball on the low post with a size advantage over Williams. Now he's got it out on the perimeter. Rassman called for the blocking foul. His first. Winbush back in. Rassman goes out. Hearing from his head coach, Jimmy Patsos. Alvarado still with the basketball. Collinette has it stripped out of bounds by Etherly, and the Jaspers will keep it.
Both these teams are really good at reaching in, getting a hand on the basketball. The two top teams statistically in block shots in the MAAC. Much like we saw in the last game, it's going to be hand-to-hand combat in the paint and down low. Nothing's going to come easy against either of these two teams.
Alvarado with an unintentional kick pass right on the mark to his teammate. There's Donovan Cates with the basketball, 17 on the shot clock. Brown pulls his way to the basket. Etherly, though, does a nice job of interfering on the shot.
But Brown has been aggressive. A couple of touches, and he's pulled his way to the rim each time.
Etherly forced to go right, and he lost it on the way up. Lots of contact, no call.
Something happened there.
I'll tell you what happened. The co-rookie of the year has his first 3 points of the night. Shane Richards, a young man who had no other Division I scholarship offers except from Manhattan. Winbush, hacked from behind by Cates. Shane Richards, the 6'5" freshman from New York, New York, makes it 7-3 Jaspers.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew? Is that you?
I got you, Wes. Just like old times. Oh, get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get that out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
The ones who inspire us. The ones who make us laugh. The ones with the strong shoulder to lean on. The ones we're named after. And the ones named after us. It takes all kinds of good to make a family. At New York Life, everything we do is to help you keep good going.
For over 75 years, people have saved money with Geico. Sorry.
Here we go from the top. And action.
For over 75 years, people have saved money with Gecko.
Cut it.
What did I say? Gecko. I said Gecko. Oh. For over 75 years...
Keep it together.
I'm good. For over 70... What are you doing there? Stop making me laugh.
Geico, saving people money for over 75 years.
Don't look at me.
The 2013 MAAC basketball tournament is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Anaconda Sports, home of The Rock, is proud to sponsor the MAAC. The Jimmy Fund. Text Jimmy to 22122 to contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund. There's a look at Shane Richards coming back out onto the floor, out of the Manhattan huddle. And Loyola has Anthony Winbush getting ready to go to the free throw line for the defending MAAC tournament champs. Winbush, a 6'7" grad student from Alexandria, Virginia. And he's out of the same high school, T.C. Williams, from Remember the Titans. Remember that movie, Rob? He's been in and out of the starting lineup this year for Jimmy Patsos. He finally gets the bounce after about 5 bounces on the rim. For Jimmy Patsos to have his players like Winbush in and out of the starting lineup throughout the season, not at all uncommon for him.
No, he mixes and matches with different lineups throughout.
Do you think it's usually based on how his guys are playing or trying to match up with the opponent?
With Jimmy, I think a lot
is there
of
any
times,
rhyme or reason?
No, there's a rhyme or reason, but a lot of times it goes back to how they're practicing, what they're doing in practice, and as well what they're doing from game-to-game situations. If you're not performing, he gets you out of that starting lineup.
Sean Storrs into the game. Also Emi Andujar, who misses on the runner.
And I think right now Loyola may be a bit too amped up. Off to a slow start, just 1 of 5 from the field. Got about a little bit too amped up. John Hughes with the technical against Jimmy Patsos. And that's early for Jimmy. He's not afraid to pick up a tee every now and again, but we're just at our first media timeout. Not even 5 minutes in, and he's got his first one.
You know, he's got a look on his face tonight that seems different than normal.
No, he came out fired up and charged, and his team was as well. And so that's good, especially you're a pressing team to get you into, but you got to be careful that you don't get overhyped.
So Donovan Cates, who is 3rd in the conference at 85% from the line, is the designated technical foul shooter. The sophomore from Hopkinsville, Kentucky, has his first 2 points. Andujar, blocked by Winbush.
That is great individual defense by Winbush. Held his ground, physically bodied up, and then the length to come up with the block.
Yeah, his versatility at both ends of the floor is invaluable.
Now, that was a perfect defensive possession for Winbush.
Etherly spins into a double team. Almost got the roll, and then a foul on the rebound.
And second time we've seen Olsen flying around, but you got to be smart. He now picks up his second foul. Here's this great defense. Holds his ground, bodies up, but then the length to be able to go get it. And like so many shot blockers, you got to be able to block with that left hand. So many guys are shooting with their right, so he's a natural lefty. That helps with coming up with some of those blocks.
Andujar trying to find a teammate, and he can't do it. R.J. Williams intercepted the pass, but he stepped out of bounds. Might have had a little help getting out of bounds.
You're going to step out of bounds if the opposing team has 2 hands in your back and pushes you out of bounds. Usually going to happen.
Pressure broken that time to find Richards towing the NBA three-point line.
And that's where you got to be careful at the backside. Manhattan can be aggressive, stretching out one of the best three-point shooters in the league on the backside.
Third best in terms of percentage, 40% for the freshman out of York Prep. Etherly has his pocket picked by Stores. Williams knocked it away from behind. Williams, little floater off the left side of the rim. Emi Andujar going from coast to coast. And a blocking foul. This time Winbush couldn't make the defensive play.
No, because Andujar, good in the open floor, slides by him to make sure he doesn't go chest to chest. That little slide by makes it a block.
But a young man out of the Bronx, preseason third team all-conference. Last year on the all-rookie team at the line. His numbers came back a bit this year, and he has not taken that step forward that perhaps people thought he might. But he still has a world of ability and a very valuable member of this team coming off the bench here tonight. Stores back in. Richards goes out for the Jaspers. To high fives all around after knocking down a couple of threes.
And both these coaches will go to their bench early and often. Guys coming in and out of the game. If you're going to press all game and try to create that defensive intensity, you got to be able to have fresh legs on the floor.
Andujar with a couple of foul shots made. And the lead very quickly stretches to 9.
Not a backcourt violation. Williams came over with his foot, but remember, both feet and the basketball have to come into the front court before it's a backcourt violation if you go back.
Good explanation, Coach, because invariably in circumstances like that, you hear people screaming from the stands. You got to have all 3 points over the line. Trying to find Cates through traffic, couldn't get the ball there. Williams drops it back for Cormier. And he just tucks the ball and puts his shoulder down and picks up the offensive foul. Loyola doesn't have a football program, but he looked like a running back right there.
Well, here he puts the ball to the floor, but that is terrific defense. Moving his feet. Rashawn Stores has had a terrific second half of the season. 3 times he's been named MAAC Rookie of the Week. All those late in the season as he has come on.
First foul of the night against Cormier. And another three-point bucket for one of the youngsters with the Jaspers. It's Stores this time. And the Greyhounds are going sideways here.
Yeah, and they look rattled. As we said, they came out fired up, charged up, but almost as if they were a little overamped. They got to settle down and execute. You had a good question as we started the broadcast. How would their experience last year of winning the MAAC championship, how would it help them? Well, right now, it has not helped at all.
Do you think it's hindered them in any way?
No, I don't think so. I just think maybe they got themselves a little bit too fired up about this ball game. Remember, it's one thing to have energy, but it still comes down to execute. You know, whether you're in your press or in your half-court offense, doesn't matter. You got to play hard, you got to play with emotion, but you still have to be able to execute.
Foul on Rassman. That's the 17th foul. Second on Rassman, and so Andujar back to the line where he just made a pair.
And this is a Loyola team because of their press. You know, they get themselves down and can make up ground. Last time these two teams met, Manhattan got out to a sizable first half lead. Loyola was able to close the gap, got themselves as much of a 13-point lead in the second half before they were able to hang on for the 2-point win.
Ramel Brown takes a breather. Andujar nearly gets the roll. Instead, Robert Olson comes away with the basketball for the Greyhounds.
And Olson back on the floor with the 2 fouls. So Jimmy Patsos taking a bit of a gamble here early.
And now he gets Winbush back up off the bench. And Olson will head back. Williams, Winbush, Etherly, Cormier, and Raspin on the floor for Loyola. Nice set to find Winbush for 3.
Oh, good job by Etherly. Maneuvering on the high post, get into that soft area and look opposite. So many times as the defense collapses on the weak side opposite, you'll get a good look.
Alvarado on the switch, trying to go by Rassman, and he does so.
Well, that is a mismatch as far as quickness is concerned, and he exploited it.
Williams stumbles. The Greyhounds keep it. 10 on the shot clock. Williams from 16.
And that's not his strength. He's not a great shooter. Terrific passer to find other guys, and he has pulled the trigger a couple of times here in the early going. Being patient against the zone.
Shot clock at 3. Gonna have to fire it up. It Stores. Long rebound comes to Rassman.
Maybe a little too patient. You got to get going to try to attack and probe the zone to find a good shot.
Winbush goes to his offhand, and he's called for the charging foul. So far, it's all Manhattan. Winbush picks up his second personal foul. Michael Alvarado and the Jaspers looking to take down the defending MAAC tournament champs.
Canisius College is committed to academic and athletic excellence. The Jesuit tradition prepares students for a lifetime of service. From the classroom to hands-on experience, Canisius students are ready to succeed. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with a focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew? Is that you? I got you, Wes. Just like old times. Oh, get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get that out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
Welcome back to Springfield, Massachusetts. The Loyola Greyhounds off to an extremely slow start, trailing Manhattan 20-8. Moments ago, Ed Cohen chatting with head coach Jimmy Patsos.
Jimmy, tough start. What adjustments do you hope to make offensively?
It's a 40-minute game, so you can't panic on that stuff. Anyway, we're taking some bad shots, and I didn't think that we got matched up. Our press is pretty good, but you got to match up, so that's on me. And, we're fine. I don't know what the technical is about. You'll have to ask the refs because I didn't say anything. So, but other than that, I thought that the play is fine. They made some shots, and we haven't.
Eric Etherly coming into this game playing extremely well. How do you get him more involved?
Well, we got to give him the ball more at the foul line, like I said. But they're doing a good job of stripping him. You got to give Manhattan credit right now. They're playing well. So, but it's a 40-minute game. It'll shake out.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks.
Well, you always look forward to hearing that interview because you never know what you're going to get from Jimmy. Animated on the sideline, passionate. Done an incredible job of resurrecting this program. I mean, he came in. This program was probably the worst program in Division I basketball, and to win back-to-back 20-win seasons. First time since 1949.
Yep.
That shows you just how far he's brought this program.
Yeah, it dates back to the Truman administration. And for the first time in the history in the MAAC, Loyola had two players on the first team. Yeah. You had Etherly and Cormier named first-team All-MAAC earlier this week.
And certainly Jimmy will be missed around the league. He's quite a character, always fun, great guy. As Loyola will be moving on to the Patriot League, Jimmy Patsos will be missed in the MAAC.
Young man from Havre de Grace, Maryland, Jared Jones, with his first two coming off the bench for the Greyhounds. Loyola, of course, moving on to the Patriot League after the season is done, after the spring sports schedule. Of course, we talk a lot about college basketball. I think the entire world revolves around college hoops, but it's the entire athletic department making the move over to the Patriot League. Etherly, Williams, Cormier, Jones, and Winbush on the floor for Loyola. Etherly. Williams again from the perimeter. This time steps into the three and knocks it down.
Well, that's the easiest shot as far as the three-pointer is concerned. Inside out, just the fifth three on the season for R.J. Williams.
But 5 of 12. So his percentage this year is very good. But still, that is not his forte. And on the defensive scheme, if you're Manhattan, you don't mind Williams taking a lot of perimeter shots.
As we said, the easiest three you can hit is when the ball comes out to you from underneath. You step right into it, plenty of time. You're in rhythm. Think about it. When you're in the gym and you're working out, whether it's practice, shooting drills, where's the ball coming? From underneath. So it's your natural motion to step right into the shot. That's why it's the highest percentage three you can get.
He didn't make his season debut, Rob, until January 17th. He was suspended for violating athletic department policy back in September. That made Jimmy Patsos go deeper into his bench and use a larger rotation. And once RJ came back, some of those younger players who had gotten valuable experience went back further and deeper into the bench. But ultimately may benefit this Loyola team going forward. Lane violation.
And Loyola's missed games from a number of different guys. Etherly was banged up and out for a couple of games with a shoulder injury. As you mentioned, Williams sitting for most of the beginning parts of the season. So they've been able to fight through some suspensions as well as injuries. And that's where your depth comes in.
Andujar takes it to the basket right around Winbush.
That was one of the keys for Jimmy Patsos coming in. He said, we got to keep Andujar out of the lane. They've not done that a couple of times. Andujar is such a versatile guy, both ends of the floor.
Winbush playing with 2 personal fouls kind of allowed him to go right around.
And when you've got those fouls, you can't be as aggressive defensively.
Cormier trickles it up over the iron.
And that was the definition of breaking ankles. He sat the defender down with that crossover.
First 2 points for the junior from Cardinal Gibbons High School in Baltimore. He's one of 4 native Baltimoreans on this Loyola roster. 6 others on the roster from within 50 miles of campus.
And that was a big key when he took the job. He said, we've got to recruit the DMV, the D.C., Virginia, and Maryland area, and they've done that well.
Good interior passing, and Andujar's headed back to the free throw line. Loyola on an 8-2 run to get back into the ball game. They've cut it to 6. Dylan Cormier breaking ankles on the way.
I'm excited for college, but financially, it's going to be a little hard. I have to apply for scholarships, definitely. Money's kind of a big topic for us for college.
Job placement is really important, you know, especially in like today's economy, because I want to like work as soon as I can to work off the debt and do, you know, what I want to start doing for a living. I want to have the nice progression from, you know, school to college to my life.
We are all reflections of the people who came before us. The good they did inspires us, prepares us, and guides us. At New York Life, everything we do is to help you keep good going.
The 2013 MAAC basketball tournament is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Anaconda Sports, home of The Rock, is proud to sponsor the MAAC. The Jimmy Fund. Text Jimmy to 22122 to contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund today. Geico. See how Geico can save you 15% or more on your car insurance by visiting geico.com today. And by the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. Visit Massachusetts.com for more information. Let's go. This is year 2 of a 3-year contract for the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference to hold its championship tournament here in Springfield, Massachusetts. And for these 2 teams, Manhattan and Loyola, with a late start scheduled for 9:30 p.m. What do you do all day long if you're the Jaspers and the Greyhounds? Rob, I guess each coach took a different tack today.
Yeah, you got to do something to get your guys moving and not just sitting around waiting all day. And I think it was interesting that both of them made sure they got their teams up. For Manhattan, they had a walk-through team meeting, went over to the Hall of Fame as well, but got guys off their feet. For Loyola, they went to the movies. They went to go see Snitch. And I think that tells you a little bit about both coaches' mindset sometimes coming in. But I think, you know, last year Stevie Masiello played in this 3-6 game as well. They were the 3 seed last year. I think he learned something from that. And now all of a sudden tried to make sure that his team was a little looser than maybe they were last year when they got upset in that 3-6 game by Siena.
Ryan McCoy just into the game, and the sophomore from Skillman, New Jersey, picks up his first personal foul.
We got to ask Jimmy or any of the players if we got a review on the movie Snitch.
We'll have to ask him after the game. Jimmy will be forthcoming, I am sure. Jared Jones now with 4 points off the bench, 6'5" freshman. McCoy out, Brown back in. Manhattan is led by as many as 13 points here tonight. Greyhounds inching their way back into it. And with the turnover, they can continue to climb closer. Loyola will keep it. Collinette was the last to touch.
As we said, with their defense, you can force those turnovers and score in bunches. You heard Jimmy Patsos when he was talking to Ed Cohen, hey, it's a 40-minute game. No need to panic right now. This is how they play.
Winbush. Bounce pass into Cormier. Back out front to R.J. Williams. Loyola has its starting unit on the floor with 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Off a switch.
They've got Winbush inside. Finally find him.
Then look for the cutter to Etherly, and there's Brown coming over to say no way.
And there's where you see why he is the defensive player in the year. Back-to-back years.
Now the most effective shot blocker in this league's history that I can recall certainly is Dengai at Fairfield. How does Ramel Brown, in your estimation, compare to Dengai?
Well, they're different because Guy was so long and bouncy. With Brown, he bodies you up. But again, both guys with those long arms to come up with the big reach to come up with this block. Watch how active. Brown comes from the double, yet rotates over. And that's going to be a dunk maybe by Etherly, or certainly a lay-in above the rim, and he takes it completely away.
Olsen almost able to finish an acrobatic shot. Instead, the Jaspers have the ball, up by 6.
And already Brown, 4th all-time in MAAC history. Going to be a long way to go chase Dengai, but there's a good chance he's going to end up being number 2 all-time, behind only Dengai.
Yeah, Ramel Brown is already, as a junior, the all-time shot block leader in Manhattan history, and he is going to wind up shattering all existing records at that school. And there he throws one down.
Well, that's where his offense continues to emerge. We saw his activity on the defensive end, going from the double, coming over, just as active on the offensive end.
R.J. Williams back to Winbush. Olsen from 22. And Brown with a rebound. And Ramel Brown is not going to be the tallest guy on the floor, but he's got a tremendous wingspan and tremendous timing.
Yep, those long arms help him not only to block shots, but rebound the basketball as well.
Dengai went from Fairfield to have a cup of coffee in the NBA with the Philadelphia 76ers. There's Brown fighting for the rebound. He can't do it, though. Too many white shirts around him. Cormier spins and has his pocket picked. Rashawn Stores again, and then a blocking foul called against Williams.
Well, Ramel Brown has certainly come to play at both ends of the floor. Here's his energy on the offensive end. Look at him explode off the floor, able to flush that one down easily. Manhattan guards doing a good job getting into the paint. Nice bounce pass to go find Brown.
Do you think he's a legit 6'7"?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
But he's not 6'8" or 6'9".
Right. But with the wingspan, he plays more like 6'8", 6'9".
He plays like 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah.
Because he's active. He works so hard on the defensive end. You see Stevie Masiello excited and recognizing the effort he's getting out of Brown. Stevie Mass was pretty vocal earlier this week when Brown was not on the first team, and you got to love that about a coach when he steps up and he's got his players back. And certainly you can make the case that He had as good a year as any post player in this league. That first team was dominated with 5 guards along with Eric Etherly.
And there is Etherly, who will head to the line to shoot 2. And historically, this league has been dominated by guards, and more so in recent years, just the way the college game and the sport of basketball in general has evolved, where it is a guard-dominated game more often than not. Rashawn Storrs with his second foul. I mean, when you and I were young, the big guys were the dominant players. And really in the 50s and 60s and into the 70s, the centers were it. But then, through the 80s and now in the 90s and since, it has definitely evolved into where the perimeter players are the dominant players.
No, just look at the NBA. For a long time, if you didn't have a center, you weren't going to win a championship. Now, certainly Michael Jordan shattered that myth.
Luke Longley.
Yeah. Is that who? I thought it was Bill Wennington.
One of those guys.
Yeah. So now, officials back over at the table. Yeah, I think, earlier as we were going, everybody checking on the score. I looked up and saw that it was 28-18, called back, just making sure that the score is correct.
Storrs, Alvarado, Richards, Andujar, and Collinet. The 5 on the floor for the Jaspers in green. The winner of this ball game will move to the semifinals, where Fairfield is waiting. Cormier with a big block shot. Williams trying to push the tempo. And the Jaspers do a nice job of getting back, but then Cormier finds an opening, missed the shot. Here's Richards, who just plants himself in that corner. Andujar, offensive rebound, back out to Alvarado.
And Andujar's been all over the place, handling the basketball, rebounding it. And a 6'5" wing, he gives you matchup problems because he can play inside and out.
Collinet. Richards drains another 3.
And you got to like the way that Richards didn't force a 3 earlier, but instead gives the basketball up. You share it, it becomes contagious. By the time he gets it back, he's got a better look from 3.
Well, he's the co-rookie of the year in the MAAC, along with Fairfield's Amadou Sidibe. Averaging over 7 points per game, 40% from beyond the three-point line, and he has had the range 3 times so far here tonight. We'll take a break with Manhattan leading by 11. The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference is a proud supporter of the Jimmy Fund. You can contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund by texting JIMMY 832-22122. Message and data rates may apply. With Rob Kennedy, I'm Doug Sherman. In the midst of our 4th MAAC quarterfinal and the 6th basketball game played here in this arena today. We have the 2 women's semifinals, won by Iona and Marist this morning. Those 2 teams have tomorrow off, and then the women's championship will be played here Monday at noon on ESPNU. The men's championship, meanwhile, will be Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN2.
And that was not a called timeout as we went to break. One of the Loyola players lost his shoe, so there was a stoppage in play, and that's why we went to the media timeout.
Etherly is fouled on the shot. Alvarado, the guilty party.
And Doug, when you look at the stats right now, Manhattan with 8 more field goal attempts than Loyola, and they've won all the hustle stats. So far, 7 offensive rebounds for Manhattan, dominating the glass, out rebounding Loyola by 7, and then they've also done a good job with their pressure defense, forcing 7 turnovers from the Greyhounds.
All 3 of Etherly's points so far come from the foul line tonight. He was the preseason MAAC Player of the Year. Wound up being won by Iona's Momo Jones, but Etherly did make the first team.
And you see on the made foul shot, Loyola getting out of their full court pressure. Not a lot has happened for them with it. Back to the straight man-to-man.
Under 3 minutes to go first half. Five on the shot clock. That ball goes in.
Oh, that may make its way onto Sports Center. Well, every once in a while, you got to figure if you hit a shot like that, maybe it's your night.
The lead is back to 11.
In Manhattan, doesn't matter what defense they're in, full court pressure, man-to-man, or now back into the zone. They're active and aggressive with their D.
Five to shoot. Cormier fouled on the 3 and a chance for 4.
Well, a couple of crazy plays here over the last 2 possessions. How about this one? And just loses complete control of the basketball and gets the shooter's touch. That basketball bounced high and then rolled back in. You got to laugh at that one. Late in the shot clock, Cormier not necessarily a very good three-point shooter, just 28% on the season. So you've got to respect him and get out and challenge him. But the last thing you want to do is bail him out with the foul.
Well, I think we may have a SportsCenter not top 10 candidate in that crazy basket that brought a little smile to the face of Emi Andujar.
The only problem, can it be a not top 10 play if it goes in?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Because if the ball hadn't gone through the rim, it wouldn't have counted as a field goal attempt. It wasn't even a shot. Here he goes again. A little more standard this time. Maybe should go back to losing it.
I like that by Williams. Go probe, see if you can find something in transition. If it's not there, don't force it. Most important thing is to retain possession of the basketball.
Cormier, nice job to shield the defender. Even better for Etherly to slam home the miss. The basketball got away, so Paul Fea, the official, blows his whistle to make sure they get the ball back.
And Etherly, the only guy in the MAAC in the top 10 in points and rebounds, and he gets a little bit of both here. Stevie Masiella was looking for the offensive basket interference, but it looked like it was outside.
Etherly's first field goal of the night makes it 33-28. Second foul on R.J. Williams. And Michael Alvarado, among the better foul shooters in the MAAC, at the line at 81%.
And since he came back from an ankle injury and got himself back in to the starting lineup, Jaspers in those last 10 games, 7-3. You know, we talked about the fact that they have not had George Beeman. Remember, this is a matchup of the preseason #1 versus #2. Loyola was picked to win the league, and Manhattan picked to be right on their heels. You got to credit Stevie Masiello. Really changed after they figured out that George Beeman wasn't going to be back for the rest of the season. Changed how they played offensively. And since then, Manhattan has been playing good basketball, having won 6 out of their last 8 coming down the stretch and 7 out of 10.
And again, that's not a coincidence that it comes at the same time that Michael Alvarado came back after missing those 3 games to injury back in early mid-January.
And a couple of the freshmen stepped up and contributed as well, including Rashawn Stores, who is very good coming down the stretch.
And Mark Jackson Jr. as well gave him some good minutes. Foul on the rebound against Alvarado.
And even though Cormier is a guard, one of the better offensive rebounders in the MAAC, 65 offensive rebounders on the season coming in, that puts him in the top 10. And it's the only guard that's in the top 10 in that category.
Well, perhaps that's part of the reason why his coach, Jimmy Patsos, calls him Baltimore tough.
Oh, yeah.
It's the toughness and the effort that get you those offensive rebounds.
Yeah, he's got great strength. You know, a guy that throws his body around, gets himself to the foul line. Over 200 free throw attempts on the season coming in. And he's going to march back to the line again.
So now John Hughes, one of the 3 officials, is back over to the scorer's table to check out a video replay. Well, it looks like the clock still ran a little bit after the whistle was blown. So we may have some time put back up onto the clock here at the Mass Mutual Center.
A good pickup there. I wasn't sure what they were going to look at. Just take a look here. You're right. Whistle blows and the clock keeps running.
Somewhere in the 38, 39 range, maybe.
Yep. And last year, here the first year that the tournament was up in Springfield, there were a couple of different times where we had some clock issues. We saw a clock issue at the end of regulation in our last game, so hopefully they can clean that up.
So they settled on 39.7 as Dylan Cormier eyes the rim. He will shoot the bonus. Steve Masiello last year took this Manhattan program from 6 wins to 21 wins in his first year. And their 1-loss record has taken a step back this year, but I'd still argue that it's been an equally impressive job working around the injuries, most notably to Beeman, and making his team play a completely different style without their best player this year.
I agree completely. And that's saying something, consider that they had the best turnaround in the country last year, plus 15 in the win column.
Here's another look at the brackets for the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships presented by Pepsi Max. Niagara eliminated Siena this afternoon, followed by a very entertaining game where the Iona Gales outscored Canisius 89-85. And then Fairfield pulled the big upset so far as the 7th seed knocked out the number 2 seed Rider.
And certainly by seed it's a big upset, but the fact that Fairfield won both their regular season matchups, not as big an upset because of that.
Indeed, and Rider finished the regular season strong to get up to the number 2 seed. Fairfield slipped to get down to where it was, but really it was such a tightly competitive race that you could flip a coin between a number of them. About 3 or 4 seconds difference between the shot clock and game clock. Closing moments of the first half. Manhattan with a basketball. They've been in control from the start, leading now by 4. Andujar tries to dump it off. Brown back out front. They got to hurry. Alvarado misses the 3. Can Cormier get off a shot? 2-1 from midcourt. Got a terrific look and very nearly can. Well, Steve Masiello's club happy to head to the locker room, leading the defending tournament champs by 4. Back with the MAAC halftime report after this. Welcome back to halftime here in Springfield, Mass. Manhattan with a 4-point lead over Loyola, 34-30. When these two teams met last weekend in their regular season finale, Eric Etherly scored 30 points against the Jaspers. He's got just 6 so far at the half in this one. Standing by with our Ed Cohen.
Eric, in the first half, 1 of 6, but you did get to the free throw line. What's been your approach against this Manhattan defense?
They're a very good, tough, scrappy defensive team, and just got to stick with it, and hopefully shots start falling later on.
You guys are back here in Springfield. Does experience count for anything as a senior?
It definitely does. We got experience, but we also got a lot of young guys that we have to teach too. So got a little bit of both, and just hopefully it works to our advantage tonight.
You faced this Manhattan team last week. You were down in that game. What's the mindset down again as you enter the second half?
Just got to keep fighting back. That's all we can do. They're a tough defensive team, so are we, but we're also a great offensive team. So it'll be a great second half, 20 more minutes.
Eric, thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Eric Etherly, a bright young man who earned his bachelor's degree in communications in December, now working on his master's degree in education leadership. He and the Greyhounds down 4 at the half.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew, is that you? I got you, Wes. Just like old times. Oh, get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get that out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
I'm Sienna.
I am Sienna.
I am Sienna. I am Sienna.
I am Sienna.
Sienna College offers an exceptional private education with a unique foundation of liberal arts, career preparation, and Franciscan values.
Trophy isn't the only thing that makes us champions. Loyola University, Maryland.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference and the Jimmy Fund are partnering up to support the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute at the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships. The Jimmy Fund raises funds for adult and pediatric cancer and research to improve the chances of survival for cancer patients around the world. To contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund, text Jimmy to 22122.
Welcome back to the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. We are at halftime. Earlier this week, the 2013 MAAC award winners were announced. Let's take a look.
The MAAC Men's Defensive Player of the Year. From Manhattan, Ramel Brown, a junior forward center from Brooklyn, New York. Brown leads the league in block shots, averaging 3 stops a night for the Jaspers. He's also tied for 10th place on the NCAA block shots chart. He's also registered 32 steals during his junior campaign, while averaging 11.7 points and 7.1 rebounds per game for the Jaspers. The MAAC Men's Defensive Player of the Year, Ramel Brown, Manhattan. The MAAC Men's 6th Player of the Year, from Fairfield, Maurice Barrow, a junior forward from Hollis, New York. Coming off the bench for the Stags, Barrow averaged 8.8 points and 4 rebounds per game. He's connected on more than 45% of his shots from the field, good for 11th place in the MAAC statistics. Barrow scored double-digit points in 14 games, along with 2 double-doubles this season. The MAAC Men's 6th Player of the Year, Maurice Barrow, Fairfield. The MAAC Men's Co-Rookies of the Year. From Fairfield, Amadou Sidibe, and from Manhattan, Shane Richards. Sidibe, a forward from the Bronx, New York, contributed 6.2 points and 6 rebounds per game for the Stags. The MAAC Rookie of the Week for January 28th, he posted 8 double-digit performances and netted 55.6% of his shots from the floor. Richards, a forward from New York City, averaged 7.3 points per game for the Jaspers. He connected on 40.6% of his attempts from the field, 39.6% from behind the arc, and 78.6% from the charity stripe. Richards recorded 11 double-digit scoring performances during his freshman campaign and was named MAAC Rookie of the Week on January 14th. The MAAC Men's Co-Rookies of the Year, Amadou Sidibe, Fairfield, and Shane Richards, Manhattan.
And so there are the best of the best for 2012-2013, led by Lamont Momo Jones, the Player of the Year in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. In his second year as a Gale, he has been outstanding, and there's nothing more that he would want to come out of this weekend on Monday night, about 11 o'clock, being up on a ladder, cutting down the nets here at the Mass Mutual Center. We'll take a break, come back with more of our halftime show with highlights and stats. Back to Springfield in just a moment.
Reflections of the people who came before us. The good they did inspires us, prepares us, and guides us. At New York Life, everything we do is to help you keep good going.
Your dream college should have it all, promising not just a degree, but an inspired direction for life's journey. An intimate college with a global alumni network, a residential campus experience, a subway ride from the capital of culture and opportunity, where you can pursue your dreams and change the world. Manhattan College has been delivering on this dream for over 150 years. Go to manhattan.edu and discover what a LaSallian Catholic college education can promise your future. Manhattan College, dreams delivered.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew, is that you?
I got you, Wes. Just like old times. Oh, get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
We're back at halftime with Manhattan leading Loyola 34-30. The Jaspers led by as many as 13 at one point, but the Greyhounds have whittled it back down. And back inside the Mass Mutual Center with Rob Kennedy, I'm Doug Sherman. Were you surprised that the Jaspers were able to come out so quickly, Rob?
No, they had great energy, and they were able to win all those energy stats. They got after it on the offensive glass. They had 10 points off turnovers compared to Loyola's 3. As we said, these teams kind of mirror each other in that they're physical, tough, defensive-minded, and their press gets a lot of their offense for both these teams.
Okay, let's take a look at the highlights. And Ramel Brown at both ends of the floor was a big part of the Jaspers taking that early lead.
And he was a guy with great energy right from the start. That was their first basket on a putback. You see here, able to maneuver along the baseline, but it's his defense that is really what keys this team. This is a Manhattan team that it's hard to score on because he anchors their defense on the backside. And because of that, where do you have to go? Get outside the three-point line. Too hard to score in the paint. And the three-point shot, certainly one of the reasons why Loyola was able to cut into that 13-point lead and get themselves right back into the ball game.
And let's take a look at the New York Life first half statistics.
And when you see both teams able to get to the foul line, not surprising. Manhattan 4 of 12 from beyond the three-point line. For Loyola, their big stat was 4 of 8 from beyond the three-point line. They've got to clean it up. 3 of 14 inside the three. That's because of the defensive presence, again, of Ramel Brown. Hard to score it at the rim against the Jaspers.
The Jaspers have not trailed. Andujar and Richards both with 9. Back with more after this. Welcome back to the Men's Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max. We are at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. Our score 34-30. Manhattan leading Loyola. Ed Cohen standing by with an interview from earlier that he got here at halftime with Manhattan's Ramel Brown.
Really attacked the offensive glass. How would you describe the aggressiveness you guys shown?
We wanted to be the assertive team coming into this game and bring it to them from the beginning. And the way we did that was get on the offensive glass. You know, we a more physical team, and we're going to do our best to try to keep that up in the second half.
2 years in a row, you've been named the Defensive Player of the Year in the MAAC. What I want to ask you is, when did this team really begin to gel defensively this season?
I think it was more towards the end of the season. We had a hard time finding our identity early in the season. I think late in the season we figured with George out, we had to focus a lot more on defense, and I think everybody bought into the idea of playing hard-nosed defense every game, and so far it's worked.
No, thanks.
Thank you.
And there's a look at our one-on-one update brought to you by Holiday Inn. Ramel Brown, only the 4 points, but still, as we showed in the highlights a moment ago, Rob, he impacts the game at both ends in many different ways.
Yeah, and they credit him with just 2 blocks and Etherly no blocks. I'm telling you, no stat is under-recorded like block shots, but both those guys with their energy at the back end of their defense, back end of the press, as well as the back end of their half-court defense. So both of them make big impacts, even if they're not scoring the basketball.
Here's another look at our Geico keys to the game and how have they played out through the first half, Rob?
Well, the Jaspers did a great job on the defensive backboards, allowing just 3 offensive rebounds for Loyola. They've got to be strong with the basketball. They were that. Just 5 turnovers in that first half for the Jaspers. That's well above their season average. Loyola, they weren't able to get on those extended runs because they didn't get a whole lot done with their pressure defense. And then defending the post, they did a decent job with that. So for Loyola, the 3-point shot really bailed them out there in that first half, and that's not a strength of this Loyola Greyhound team.
Individually for Loyola, Dylan Cormier leads the way with 8 points and 9 apiece for Manhattan for both Richards and Andujar. Let's take a look at the 3 teams who've already punched their tickets to the NCAA tournament. Harvard, having clinched the regular season championship in the Ivy League. The Crimson heading back to the big dance. Florida Gulf Coast in the Atlantic Sun, and Belmont in the Ohio Valley.
And that was an overtime win against Murray State, one of last year's mid-major darlings. And how about the Princeton Tigers letting one slip away? Yeah, they went on the road to Yale, and Brown got swept. They went into this last weekend of the regular season in the Ivy with a 1-game lead over Harvard. And after not getting to the NCAA tournament for decades, years, half a century, Tommy Amaker taking the Crimson to back-to-back NCAA tournament.
And they've done it this year, having lost some of their key players to suspension at the start of the season.
2 of their best players who will be back again next year. So Tommy Amaker has done a great job in rebuilding that Harvard program and taking it to heights it has never seen before.
And the MAAC will have an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament to one of the teams still alive, potentially one of these 2. Monday night around 11 o'clock, somebody will be celebrating here in Massachusetts. Olsen left it short. Alvarado, Collinette, Brown, Cates, and Richards, the starting 5 for the Jaspers here in the second half in their road Kelly green uniforms. And then you've got Cormier, Winbush, Etherly, Williams, and Olsen, the same starting 5 as began the ball game for Loyola. Collinette. Nice job again by Winbush to make it a tough challenge shot. And then the foul on the rebound.
But the Jaspers start the second half just like they started the first half, crashing the offensive boards, getting after it with those energy plays.
Third foul on Robert Olsen, who has had a quiet ball game so far tonight, large part because of the foul difficulties.
Yeah, his first 2 fouls were he was just too amped up and over-aggressive, got one in a trap situation and then clearly came over the back. And you can't waste those fouls because now all of a sudden, you know, you're in a situation trying to rebound the basketball and you come up with a foul. That's not a bad play. But now it's your third because you gave away a couple of fouls earlier.
1 for 2 from the line for Donovan Cates. Robert Olsen is another one of these seniors here in Springfield this weekend, looking to extend the college career one more time into the NCAA tournament. Alvarado whistled for the reach-in foul. It's number 3 on the Jaspers point guard. And so Anthony Winbush at the free throw line. Mel Brown on the post. Doesn't get the shot to go. Brown again, and he just keeps working.
No, that's where he gets it. You know, when you say garbage points, that's not accurate for him. It's just all effort points. You know, sometimes the ball bounces because you just outwork people.
6 points for the junior from Brooklyn now.
And Winbush got to be able to convert that. The defense extends out, got himself a perfect shot at the high post. The soft spot of that zone, especially when they try to extend at the top.
Good inside out, back inside for Collinet. And Williams called for the foul. Third foul on the point guard for the Greyhounds.
So both teams points now with 3 fouls. Here's a good feed inside. Collinet goes up strong. Williams got a lot of basketball, but got a little skin at the end of that play.
Roberto Collinet, actually one of several graduate students playing in this game. He got his management degree last May. And a little known fact, how about this? He's a certified Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts. Were you a Boy Scout, Rob?
No, I was not.
No.
How about you?
I was.
I figured if you asked it, that was the case.
Well, I didn't even come close to Eagle Scout. 38-31, Jaspers with a 7-point lead. Greyhounds with the basketball. The winner will take on Fairfield tomorrow in the semifinals. Foul called against Brown. That's not where you want him to pick up a personal. Number 2 on number 5.
Well, you're right. You want to save those to be able to bang guys inside. Olsen thought he was going to have a 3, saw Ramel Brown coming, and smartly put the ball to the deck.
Etherly's got position on Richards, but they can't find him. Williams. Richards may have gotten away with a little shove on that rebound. Whatever works. Here's Brown.
You can see they're trying to force feed it into Brown on the post.
Now 5 to shoot. There's got to be a little urgency here. Story right to the rim. Brown somehow keeps it alive, going through and around and over Etherly for the putback.
No, just fighting and outworking people on the glass. The Greyhounds got to start matching the intensity and effort that the Jaspers are putting out there.
Winbush. Nice work along the baseline. Pass kicked out of bounds by Olsen.
Well, the Jaspers have gotten a lot done on the offensive glass. They've got 11 offensive rebounds, mostly because of the effort of Ramel Brown inside. Not once, but twice, just sticking with it. Comes up with the tip, misses the first, padding his stats there as he gets a couple of offensive rebounds, but just outworking the Greyhounds right now.
He's got 8 points and 8 rebounds. Does Ramel Brown. Emi Andujar, no look to Brown. And the big finish.
And he's the guy who's so quick off his feet along the baseline. He's got much more energy right now than does the Loyola front court.
Well, he outplayed the expectations of him coming into the year. His third team preseason, made second team. Challenged that shot from Etherly and then pulls down the miss.
Now active both ends of the floor.
Andujar working on Etherly. Brown kicks to Cates.
Well, literally Ramel Brown doing everything. Rebounding, blocking shots, scored it inside, and dishing off for assist. And another Loyola turnover. Doug, they look rattled.
The lead has been stretched back to double figures, led by Ramel Brown. The Jaspers trying to take down the defending MAAC tournament champs.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference has provided thrills and excitement to college basketball fans for over 30 years. Now you can get an inside look at the league schools and its student athletes by visiting the MAAC Experience at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Check out the MAAC's rich history and be sure to take in the featured video, A Day in the Life of a MAAC Student Athlete. Don't miss the MAAC Experience at the Basketball Hall of Fame. For more information, visit hoophall.com.
I guess this is it.
You promised to call?
I promise. Hey, Dad. Everything's great. I really like my classes.
There's so many clubs and activities to choose from. I think I'd like to study abroad. I was accepted for an internship in New York City.
Done.
Did you just turn your ringer off so no one would interrupt us?
Oh no, I just used my Geico app to get a tow truck. It's gonna be here in 30 minutes.
Oh, so that means we won't be stuck up here for hours with nothing to do.
I get it. You wanna pass the time, huh? Fruit Ninja!
Emergency roadside assistance. Just a click away with the Geico mobile app.
Welcome back to the Mass Mutual Center. Manhattan has stretched its lead back to 12 over Loyola. The MAAC Golf Championships head to Lake Buena Vista, Florida to compete on the Magnolia Golf Course from April 26th through the 28th. Check out highlights of the golf action on ESPN3 following each day's competition.
And doesn't that sound good with all the snow still on the ground?
It sure does. Big storm hit New England where we are right now just a couple of days ago. You see the numbers for Ramel Brown getting close to a double-double. And the relationship that MAAC Commissioner Rich Enser has fostered over the years with the folks at Disney, both with ESPN and down in Florida, has been to the benefit of everybody associated with the conference.
No question. So many of the sports hold championships down at the wide world of sports, including the golf championship. And how cool is that? To be able to go down to Disney and play your championship.
With 5 on the shot clock, Cormier is called for a foul against Storrs, 25 feet from the bucket.
Again, they've got to match the intensity that we've seen from Manhattan, but you also got to do it with some smarts.
Cormier's second foul, just the third here in the second half against the Greyhounds. Here comes the double team on Donovan Cates. Trying to bring that energy, nearly getting the turnover, and then they do. Robert Olson is going to be called for the over and back, and that is just bad luck for him.
Yeah, good hustle to come up with the steal, but he wasn't able to keep his balance as he stepped over. First time in a long time, though, that we've seen the Hounds be able to get something out of their full court pressure.
And then it turned into being nothing because they were in a bad spot of the court when it happened. Here again, that pressure. Jones giving chase to Andujar. And Richards again just planting himself in that corner. Couldn't make that one, but then the rebounding foul.
And that's the biggest story of the game. Their offensive rebounding. Manhattan absolutely beating up the Greyhounds on the backboards. Now 12 offensive rebounds. They've out-rebounded Loyola by 11 rebounds. And one thing with this Manhattan team, when they rebound, they win. In their wins, they out-rebound their opponents by 4 per game. And they are certainly doing a good job on the glass here tonight.
Richards, the inbounder. They again keep looking for that baseline 3.
And another extra opportunity off the offensive glass.
Cates. And that time, no chance for the Jaspers to get an offensive rebound.
Yeah, that may have been the only way that Loyola was going to corral possession.
Olsen, tough angle to feed the post from. Collinette diving to the floor to come up with the basketball.
That is great individual effort and hustle by Collinette. Diving to the floor like a shortstop in the hole to come up with that steal.
Six to shoot. Bodies fly. And we do have a whistle as Williams and Collinette got tangled up. And Williams cannot believe that he's called for another foul.
On that high pick and roll, he had to switch, and by doing that, he had a mismatch inside. You see both guys trying to fight for position. I tell you what, see why Williams was upset when he got absolutely hit in the face. This is a situation where you've got to ask the officials to go maybe take a look at the monitor. Jimmy Patsos not happy, but there was a clear elbow above the shoulders, and if the officials went to go look at that one, it may have been a flagrant foul.
No question. And so Williams, who was the offended party, winds up heading to the bench after picking up another foul. And the Jaspers score off it, and Jimmy Patsos is very unhappy. 47-33, timeout on the floor here at the MAAC Mutual Center.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew, is that you?
I got you, Wes. Just like old times. Oh, get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get that out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
We are St. Peter's University, a place where students who are eager to learn are taught by people who care, on a campus designed for both to thrive. We're proud to offer incredible learning opportunities and life-changing experiences, and that means our students are prepared to succeed in their fields, in their communities, and all over the world. Get to know St. Peter's University, the Jesuit University of New Jersey.
Exciting. Super. Intense.
Action-packed.
Inspiring.
Sensational.
Electric.
Scintillating.
Stimulating.
Check out Massachusetts.com for information on the MAAC Basketball Championships from March 7th to the 11th.
The time is now. Let's go.
Ramel Brown making his coach look smart. Stevie Masiello was arguing the fact that he thought he should have been on the first team. Well, Ramel Brown backing it up and showing that maybe the coaches made a mistake. Coming out with great energy, both ends of the floor. doing a little bit of everything as Manhattan has had their way, stretching the lead out to 14 points here now on the broad shoulders of Ramel Brown.
Ramel Brown, the only player in double figures so far with the 10 points, along with 9 rebounds, 2 assists. They say 2 block shots. One thing I find interesting in talking to Ramel earlier this season, he says he's a more cerebral shot blocker this year, as he is not just relying on his instincts and physical athletic ability.
Oh, they need him on the floor playing more minutes. Early on in his career, he was a 15, 20-minute a game guy. They need him on the floor so he can't foul as much.
Now Jimmy Patsos giving it to Eric Etherly, and now giving it to Anthony Winbush. But if you've never seen a Loyola game, this is not out of the norm.
Well, trying to get his team fired up. I'm not sure exactly what he was upset at. Maybe they weren't up in the full court pressure or the type of pressure that he wanted. Whatever it was, I think he got his point across.
I think he did. And then we always do need to point out that as soon as the game is over, he's apt to be the one to give each of those 2 guys a big bear hug and say, I love you.
Yep, and that's why he's able to get after it with those guys. Here comes the full court pressure. This is what he was looking for.
The MAAC now has apps for your iPhone, iPad, and Android. The app delivers instant updates, including MAAC news, scores, standings, and videos straight to your mobile device. Visit MAACsports.com/mobile for more information. Robert Olson was called for his 4th personal. Tyler Hubbard now will replace Olson. Hubbard, a redshirt freshman from Mitchellville, Maryland. He played big minutes early in the season, not so much lately. Foul called offensive, but did Jones give Andujar a place to land?
I'm not sure. It looked like he may have walked before the contact. Either way, it was going to be a turnover. And that's what Jimmy Patsos was imploring his team. They got to get something going. And they've got to create some offense with their defense.
They were down by 14 points a moment ago, which has been the biggest lead of the ball game.
They missed Winbush on a duck-in just before. And then they do the same with Etherly.
Winbush to the strong hand for 2.
And now on every made field goal, you can expect the Greyhounds to get up into full court pressure.
Stores dump it off for Brown. I thought there was no way he wasn't going to dunk that basketball, but now he's going to have to go to the line and earn the 2 points.
And if Loyola's going to get up in pressure, you got to be able to make them pay for it by being aggressive. We've seen them be aggressive a couple of times once they got over top of that press, kicking it out to Richards, this time able to dump it inside to Brown.
3 fouls on Jared Jones. Well, there's the one chink in the armor. Ramel Brown with an air ball. He's a 40% foul shooter. Steve Masiello has seen that before.
And Loyola usually has a lot more depth up front, but unavailable tonight is Jordan Latham and Julius Brooks, so you don't have as many fouls to be able to try and put Ramel Brown to the foul line, especially late in the game.
Etherly thought about it. Now the tough leaner, and a foul on the floor. The Jaspers with a 10-point lead. Timeout here at the Mass Mutual Center.
The ones who inspire us. The ones who make us laugh. The ones with the strong shoulder to lean on. The ones we're named after. And the ones named after us. It takes all kinds of good to make a family. At New York Life, everything we do is to help you keep good going.
The Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference and the Jimmy Fund are partnering up to support the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute at the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships. The Jimmy Fund raises funds for adult and pediatric cancer and research to improve the chances of survival for cancer patients around the world. To contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund, text Jimmy to 22122.
Everyone here at Iona College has a great spirit of enthusiasm as students start to see our facilities and speak to our faculty. They realize this college gives our students a great opportunity to learn more about themselves and go on to fantastic careers in whatever field they choose.
The first thing that strikes you when you arrive at campus is the beautiful buildings and grounds. But above all, Iona focuses on students and student success. And Iona is an institution that changes lives.
The 6th-seeded Manhattan Jaspers trying to knock out the reigning MAAC tournament champs here in the quarterfinals. And their head coach, Steve Masiello, a moment ago chatting with our Ed Cohen.
Steve, you have a 10-point lead. They've chipped away a few times. What do you have to do to sustain your energy?
10-point lead means nothing in this type of game. Two teams are really trying to create tempo. We got to keep rebounding the basketball, and we can't give them easy baskets like we just did the last two plays.
6 days ago, you guys committed 21 turnovers, a lot better with the ball so far tonight. What's been the difference?
Well, we're being a little stronger with the basketball, and that's what you have to do. You can't go back on your heels, but it's still a lot of time left to play.
Steve, thanks.
What do you make of what the coach had to say there, assessing where his team is right now?
I think he was spot on. And he talked about the two biggest keys coming in. We talked about it at the start. Rebounding the basketball, not allowing Loyola to get extra opportunities on the offensive glass. Check so far, they've done that. And be strong with the basketball. I mean, as we said, coming in last in the MAAC at almost 17 turnovers per game, but they've been much better and much stronger with the ball. Only 7 turnovers so far tonight.
And that's been the case right from the start here tonight in this late quarterfinal game that was scheduled to begin at 9:30. And we have gone past midnight Eastern time. And actually here in the arena, they've already moved the clocks ahead. Remember, tonight is the night you've got to lose an hour of sleep. They've already made it 1:03 a.m. here inside the Mass Mutual Center.
Just to kind of rub salt in the wounds. We know we're losing an hour. You don't have to remind us now.
Clock down under 10. Collinet. And the foul against Etherly. Check that. It's on Anthony Winbush. His third and the team's 8th. And so Collinet is at the free throw line. Collinet has certainly done a solid job so far here tonight. You saw the numbers, 6 points and 8 rebounds, which is far above his average. And there you see we're past the witching hour. And actually, according to the clock here inside the building, past 1 a.m. Still with me, partner?
Absolutely.
All right.
And we certainly, as Stevie Masiello said, even with the 12-point lead, still a lot of basketball to be played because both these teams can score in bunches off their press.
Winbush, Cormier, Etherly, Hubbard, and Olsen. And Olsen playing with 4 personal fouls. This is Olsen with the basketball. Cormier tied up. And the foul called on Andujar.
As we said earlier, he's a guy that gets himself to the line. Over 200 free throw attempts on the season. He's a slasher. He's not going to just stand outside and knock down shots. He's going to put pressure by putting the ball to the floor and attacking.
Andujar picked up his second foul. Jimmy Patsos hoping his club can rally and find a spot in the semifinals. Dylan Cormier, the 6th leading scorer in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. He gets 1 out of 2 from the line.
But here's where they got to get something going. For them to get on a run, they got to be able to create some offense with this pressure D.
Timeout Manhattan called from the bench. And so down to 3 timeouts remaining for the Jaspers. Well, this is the 4th of our 4 men's quarterfinals. Niagara knocked out Siena to begin it this afternoon. Iona with an 89-85 win over Canisius. And so it'll be the Purple Eagles and the Gales at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern time later today here on ESPN3 in the first semifinal. And then Fairfield will play in the nightcap later today, Sunday, against the winner of this ball game between Loyola and Manhattan, all building up to the 9 o'clock Eastern time Monday championship game, which you can see on ESPN2. The winner advancing through the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. A forced turnover. Alvarado gives it back to the Greyhounds.
That's exactly what they're looking for, and if they're going to make a run, it's got to be an extended run. They've got to be able to put some back-to-back scoring possessions together by coming up with some stops.
And a bad pass by Hubbard, who then nearly gets back with it, and this time Olsen makes sure the ball was on one side of the midcourt stripe and not the other. Kick basketball by Stores. And the shot clock will hold at 30. It'll be Loyola possession on the sideline. Jones comes in to replace Winbush. Williams takes the place of Hubbard. Steve Masiello trying to coach his Jaspers into the semis. Alvarado doing a little acting there. Cormier. As you pointed out, Rob, three-point shooting is not his specialty. Loyola will keep possession.
Not only is it not his specialty, but not one of the strengths of the Greyhounds.
No.
30% from the three-point line on the season, dead last in the MAAC.
Robert Olsen is their best shooter at 33%.
But it was that three-point shot that kept them in the ball game in the first half when they were 4 for 8, 0 for 2 here in the second half from deep.
Etherly blocked by Collinette. Jones sticks it in.
Well, that's one of the strengths, though, of this team, their offensive rebounding.
Under 15 on the shot clock. And an obvious foul as Etherly had his right hand wrapped around the hip of Collinette. That's number 1 on Eric Etherly.
And Collinette doing a great job sitting down in the post, making himself big. And because he's been active inside, Stevie Masiello's been able to get Ramel Brown an extended rest here. Last couple of minutes, Brown's been on the bench.
In any part of Steve Masiello's mind, is he thinking, if I can get a couple extra minutes of rest for Mel Brown tonight and get away with it, it might benefit me tomorrow?
Well, and as well for this game, get him a little rest so when he gets back in the game, he's got fresh legs.
R.J. Williams for 3.
And that's their first 3 of this second half. The bench is into it. All of a sudden, they've got some energy and some enthusiasm, and another good, solid trap.
Brown and Winbush will check in at the next stoppage. They both sit at the scorer's table. Storrs driving on Williams. And he can't get the roll. Here come the Greyhounds. Jones, no. Etherly tips. Jones again lost it on the way up. Whose basketball is it? It's Loyola's possession. The Greyhounds continue to chip away. They're hanging in there. Jimmy Patso's trying to will his club into the semis. MAAC fans, make sure to head to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame to see the MAAC exhibit. The MAAC Experience displays all 10 MAAC institutions and highlights of their basketball performances over the years. And all week long, it's been a celebration here in Springfield of all things MAAC basketball. You see the honor roll for this year for Keith Bullock and Gina Soma in the history of the Manhattan Jaspers. You had an experience earlier this week with Niagara legend.
Yeah, Calvin Murphy was one of the honor roll honorees, and he was one of the speakers and did a tremendous job. I mean, he's always got great energy and enthusiasm, and the way that he described how much that Niagara University had done for him was really special, and showed again what it means to be a student athlete in the MAAC.
Turnover on a 5-second call. Winbush could not get the inbound. And there you see the honor roll ease. Michael Morrison and Lurie Schenning for Loyola University.
And Morrison not only getting drafted, but playing his rookie year in the Western Conference Finals. A prolific scorer in his day. Out of the timeout, Loyola unable to get the basketball inbounds on a baseline out of bounds. You cannot allow that to happen. Trying to make a run, you got to be able to get the ball in on a baseline out of bounds.
And just when they were building some momentum going into that timeout, Ramel Brown, no. Andujar wasn't able to secure it, so the Greyhounds continue to keep the pressure on. Etherly blocked from behind that time by Cates. And it's Andujar who muscles the ball away. Quickly ahead to Alvarado. Jones says no, and here comes Cormier. It's a 5-point ball game.
This is the pace that Loyola wants right now. They want to try to see if they can get Manhattan rattled. Now Brown really shaping up in the post. They find him. And this time, as he left one at the front of the rim last time, able to convert. That's terrific execution. That's exactly where Stevie Masiello wanted the basketball.
12 points, 9 rebounds for Ramel Brown. The lead back up to 7. 6 minutes left in regulation. Olsen for 3. Timeout, Loyola.
Well, great execution by both teams on the last 2 possessions. Stevie Masiello late in the shot clock. That's where they wanted it to go. Took a while to find Brown, but when they did, the big guy able to deliver. And on the other side, their best three-point shooter, Robert Olsen. He's been quiet all night because of foul trouble, but that's a big 3 to cut the lead to 5.
And I believe that John Hughes is taking a look to make sure whether it was a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer. On the replay we just saw, it reaffirmed what I thought initially, that it was a 3-point shot. Let's see if we get a definitive angle.
Well, remember, there's 3 lines on the court. You've got the women's 3, the men's 3. That would not have been an NBA 3, but it's a men's college 3, I think.
I think so too, but I'm not so sure the officials are yet convinced. That look to me certainly indicates that it's a 3. Hughes is saying it's going to be a 2. So that tells me they called it a 2 initially. Let's see. Paul Fay is going to come over this way and tell us that it's a 2. It was apparently called initially a 2, and they felt like there was not definitive visual proof, Rob, to overturn it to make it a 3. Cates, offensive foul.
Well, you want to be aggressive against the pressure, but you've got to stay under control. Cates able. And Cates got himself out of control. As we said, you want to be aggressive, but you do not want to pick up the charge right there. One of the reasons why you get up in pressure is to force guys to have to make decisions on the run. That was not a good decision by Cates.
Speaking of runs, you see the Greyhounds on a 13-4 run. The foul on Cates was his 3rd.
Well, Loyola able to extend the run down to 13-4.
Under 10 to shoot. Williams puts it up. Rebound Cormier. Blocked. And there's Ramel Brown with the basketball. Cormier slow to get up, but Manhattan's in no hurry.
Good defensive pressure by Williams. Nearly had a 5-second call.
5 minutes left in the second half.
Doug, it's going to be hard to score the basketball coming down the stretch for both these teams. Both defenses really starting to lock in with the pressure.
With 3 on the shot clock. A foul on the way up with 1 on the shot clock.
And you can't reach down and slap in that situation. You guard terrific for 34 seconds. You can't bail them out by slapping down at the basketball. That was a good call. Puts a ball to the floor, you get by, and what you can't do is bail them out.
Even though it may have been clean. You know what I mean?
Yep. But when you slap down like that,
you're going to get called.
Most of the time.
Second foul called on Etherly. When you're a defensive player in that situation, Rob, should you be aware? How can you be aware of how much time is left on the shot clock? Does it alter the way you defend?
Well, you may not know if it's 1 second or 5 seconds, but you certainly know that you've been guarding throughout a possession. You know, sometimes guys just don't allow people to go make a shot and beat them. Whether it's reaching in, fouling, gambling, sometimes you just got to be solid defensively. If a team makes shots and beats you, by all means, that's what's going to end up happening. But don't help the cause.
Olsen with an NBA 3.
Well, they won't have to go to the monitor to see if that one was good or not. And again, this one well beyond the NBA three-point line. And Olsen able to cut the lead to 4. Again, took another timeout. Loyola now down to just 1 timeout. Jimmy Passos was arguing that he thought maybe the last block shot by Ramel Brown should have been goaltending, but the officials quickly chased him right back into their huddle.
Actually, Rob, that was the last Loyola timeout used.
Yep. Look up now and see no timeouts. And I'm not so sure that they needed that right there. They may need that timeout later on.
Meanwhile, the Jaspers have 3 in their hip pocket. As you can see from the graphic on your screen, the 3 little yellow dashes underneath the name Manhattan indicates how many timeouts remaining. You also see the bonus with the plus next to it. That means they are in the double bonus. Loyola has committed 10 or more free throws, so Manhattan will be shooting 2 foul shots for every foul going forward.
And with those 3 timeouts, if they get in trouble against the full court pressure, whether they're deep in a trap, if you're Steve Masiello, you can save possession of the basketball by taking one of those timeouts.
Calm, cool, and collected. Steve Masiello heads back over to the Manhattan bench. The Jaspers have been leading from the start by as many as 13 in the first half. It was 34-30 at the intermission, and by as many as 14 points here in the second half. It's a 4-point lead now with the Jaspers basketball. 4.5 minutes remaining. Etherly fouled on the entry pass. And so Ramel Brown will shoot a pair.
Well, he and Collinet keep shaping up and sitting down in that post and forcing Loyola to play from behind. Even though it's a 2-shot bonus, not a bad idea by Etherly to start forcing Brown to go finish him off 15 feet away. You said it before, Doug. That's the one kink in his armor, just a 40% foul shooter on the season.
3rd foul on Etherly.
And that's a tough thing when your best player and the guy that you want to force the ball into is just a 40% foul shooter. Tough situation for Stevie Mass because you start becoming gun shy late in the game that maybe you don't want to put it in his hands and allow them to hack a shack like they did on that play.
And so an empty trip for the Jaspers allows Loyola to cut it to a 1-possession game with 4 minutes on the clock. Olsen, short on that one.
Yeah, they got the shot that they wanted. That was a set play. Good screen in. His teammates able to find him. But Olsen, their best 3-point shooter, left it short.
Cates off the ball fake. Richards for 3. Brown the offensive rebound.
Now there to save the day once again. Bodied up down below and then using those long arms, the outstretched arms, to come up with yet another offensive rebound. That's been the biggest stat all game long for the Jaspers.
And the Jaspers happy to work some more time off the clock. Here's Brown. Olsen had it for a moment. Here comes Cormier. He doesn't have the numbers, but he continues to the bucket, and it pays off.
He just put his head down, and he was not going to be denied. You're right, Doug. He didn't have numbers, but what he did have is speed and strength to go finish out in the open floor.
And more importantly, Ramel Brown picks up his 4th personal foul. Dylan Cormier and the Greyhounds back within 2.
Anaconda Sports, your sports authority, proudly supporting local high school athletes throughout the region. We want to thank all the teams and coaches that have made Anaconda the #1 dealer in the Northeast. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever your sport, Anaconda has what you're looking for. From the latest gear and team uniforms to logo shirts and hats for your company. Make Anaconda your connection.
Hey, if you want to go for sports equipment, go to Anaconda Sports. It's awesome, baby.
So, if you have a flat tyre, dead battery, need a tow or lock your keys in the car, Geico's emergency roadside assistance is there 24/7. Oh dear, I got a flat tyre. Yeah, can you find a take where it's a bit more dramatic on that last line, yeah? Yeah, I got it right here.
Someone help me! I have a flat tyre!
Oh, it's good for me. What do you think?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
What these young bloods have to understand, that this game has always been and will always be about buckets.
Drew, is that you?
I got you, Wes. Just like old times. Oh, get over. That's a pocket pass. That's a pocket pass.
Gotta get out there.
Screen.
Put your team back together again.
Get that out of here.
Go find them. This is just the beginning.
The 2013 MAAC basketball tournament is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Anaconda Sports, home of The Rock, is proud to sponsor the MAAC. The Jimmy Fund. Text Jimmy to 22122 to contribute $5 to the Jimmy Fund today. Geico. See how Geico can save you 15% or more on your car insurance by visiting geico.com today. And by the 2013 MAAC Basketball Championships at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. Visit Massachusetts.com for more information. Let's go. With Rob Kennedy, this is Doug Sherman back at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Mass. A 14-point lead has disappeared. Cormier trying to complete a three-point play. And he does. 53-52.
And interesting, Loyola not up in the full court pressure off that made foul shot. Instead, they're going to fall back into the zone defense. Got to make sure you shade to Richards. Can't lose him along the baseline.
Etherly jumps in the pass route, but Brown gets it back.
And how about the great hands of Ramel Brown? So many bigs would not have been able to come up with that catch. Like Inspector Gadget with those long arms. First guy to the basketball.
Thinking the same thing. Etherly with the steal. And Loyola with a chance to take the lead.
And that was all footwork by Etherly, getting around with that post defense.
Two minutes on the clock. The Greyhounds have not led since 4-3. Cormier. And Brown says no.
He's the guy that's not going to pull the trigger from deep. He's going to drive it. Problem is, he drove right into Ramel Brown.
Jaspers just hoping to reach the finish line first and make it into tomorrow's semifinal. Stores puts it up. Rebound fought for, and it comes to Olsen. And again, the Greyhounds with a chance to retake the lead.
And here's where it comes down to execution. Both teams have played hard. There's been good energy. But now you got to be able to run half-court offense and get the shot you want.
And I correct what I said a moment ago. Loyola has never lead. That 4-3 back early was a Manhattan 4-3 lead. Now 5 to shoot. Cormier for that lead. Olsen the rebound. Shot clock is off. So if you're the Greyhounds, you don't have any timeouts. You've got to play it out and hope you can come up with a shot to win it before the buzzer.
Well, here comes the call from the sideline. Let's see if they try to play through Etherly.
Olsen for that lead. Can't do it. Rebound loose. Olsen for it. He's got it. 13 seconds left in regulation. A reset for Loyola. Etherly over Brown. It was blocked. 5 seconds to go. Stores has the basketball, and he is fouled.
Well, it's been about defense all game long. They got the basketball to Etherly down on the block, but not surprisingly, the best defender in the MAAC, the two-time reigning MAAC Defensive Player of the Year, comes up big once again. Ramel Brown holds his ground, and by doing that, allows Emmy Andahar to come on over and get involved as well. Scramble, no timeouts, can't set things up. And sometimes guys just have to step up and make a play. And it was once again another defensive play by the Jaspers.
And the foul committed by R.J. Williams, his 5th. That's the reason for the break in the action.
And still with 3.2 seconds left, Doug, an eternity. Even if he knocks these 2 foul shots down, it's still a 1-possession ball game. We saw earlier today the strategy of whether or not, if you're up by 3, you give the foul. Fairfield did, and it worked out for the Stags. Let's see if Storrs is able to convert both of these foul shots, whether or not Manhattan does the same.
And there you see 4 for 4 tonight. Only 62% on the year coming in.
And Doug, with the 3 timeouts, if you do hit both of these as well, Stevie Masiello has those timeouts if he wants to make sure that he's able to set up that defensive scheme. That's why you save those timeouts for late in the ball game. A couple of those timeouts by Jimmy Patsos earlier in the game, he wished he had those back. The last couple of offensive possessions, they really did not get good shots.
Storrs makes it a 3-point lead. No timeout yet called by the Jaspers, and so with 3.2 on the clock, the Greyhounds desperate for a 3 to force overtime.
And it does not look as if Manhattan's going to come up and foul on it. Let's see how they play it out.
Tyler Hubbard in the ball game, along with Olson, Etherly, and Cormier, with Winbush, their best baseball passer. He's made some brilliant passes this year. That one comes to Olson for the tie. And the defending MAAC tournament champs are knocked out in the quarterfinals by the Manhattan Jaspers.
And once again, it was another challenge shot. It may have been a crazy 3 to end the game, but if you allow him a clean look, there's a good shot. Olson's going to make it. Defensive pressure again bothered him. That's what Manhattan has relied on all season as they've been able to go on this nice run here now, making it 8 out of their last 11 ball games with wins as they're able to advance on into the semifinals.
And so our 4 semifinalists are known. The long day of basketball is over here in Springfield. And there you see it'll be the 6 and the 7 seed in tomorrow's second semi.
So we had all chalk at the top of the bracket and a couple upsets at the bottom of the bracket.
Take a break and come back with our post-game report as the Jaspers survive and advance.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop. You save.
Welcome back inside the Mass Mutual Center with Manhattan having just knocked off Loyola 55-52. The Jaspers move on to the semifinals. Our Pepsi Max Slam of the game delivered by Ramel Brown. The big flush, and Ramel Brown with 12 points and 12 rebounds. Our Pepsi Max Slam of the game. Now we send it over to Ed Cohen, standing by with the winning coach.
All right, Doug, last time Manhattan won in the quarterfinals was 1998. You were at Kentucky, and you needed every single minute to close this one out tonight.
Yeah, we did. Give Loyola a lot of credit. They battled the whole night. They're a very well-coached team. They're a great team. Our kids, I thought, fought for 40 minutes. Besides the leads, we just did a great job. He gave the pregame speech tonight, and that's why we won the game. We dedicated this game to him.
Mohamed Koita, your senior from France, right there with you. What can you say about the effort on the glass, and notably Ramel Brown?
Unbelievable. I mean, tonight you just saw really a high-level competition from our Emmy, Ramel, Roberto, everyone, Donovan, big plays down the stretch. I'm just really happy the way we played.
It's after 1:30. The clock has turned, but you guys were ready for this time. How'd you prepare for it?
Practice at night every night. We really do. We practiced at this time. We got used to it, and you know what? We're just having a lot of fun. Let's do this thing. It's like AAU all over again. 4 games in a day, 3 games a day. We don't care anytime. We'll just go play. We're having fun with it.
And the next game is against Fairfield. You saw them a couple of weeks ago. Low-scoring contest. What's next?
We're going to enjoy this for about 20 more minutes, then we're going to start watching the Fairfield film.
Congratulations.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Ramel Brown, a standout game, double-double. What was your mindset? You come back on the floor, you have to be aggressive inside, and you're playing with 4 fouls.
I kept the same mindset the whole game. I knew they were a physical team, so we just wanted to come out and rebound. I felt if we controlled the glass, we had the advantage in this game, and it was proven tonight.
What does it mean after falling last year late against Siena to get back to the semifinals?
Oh, it was sweet because, I felt like this year a lot of teams underestimated us because we struggled early, and we always believed in ourselves throughout the whole season. We knew what we were capable of, and this is the perfect time to show it, tournament time. Anybody can win. It's kind of, just like an open gate for anybody to take it. And I think we definitely have that possibility this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Ramel Brown and the Jaspers facing Fairfield tomorrow here in Springfield.
All right, thank you, Ed. He is our Pepsi Max player of the game, is Ramel Brown. And there are the brackets. Give us a preview, Rob Kennedy, of what you expect in tomorrow's semifinals.
Well, I guarantee you this. There'll be a lot more offense in the first game than the second game. Iona and Niagara, they want to get up and down the floor. They want the game to be in the 70s, 80s. They're not afraid to play in the 90s. On the other side, it's going to be 2 great defensive teams. By far the 2 best defensive teams in the MAAC. Last time they met, it was 34-31. I got to tell you, I'm hoping there's at least a few more points than that, but it will be a defensive struggle. You can guarantee that.
Once again, our final score, Manhattan 55, Loyola 52. Join us actually later today for our next MAAC Basketball Championship broadcast here on ESPN3. Coverage starts at 2 o'clock Eastern with the men's first semifinal game featuring top-seeded Niagara taking on 4th-seeded Iona. For Rob Kennedy, Ed Cohen, and our entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman saying so long from Springfield, Massachusetts. The proceeding has been a presentation of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.